Waving hand this time we will discuss a very touching story, coming directly from the South Korean military barracks, where one of the big stars of K-pop and a famous actor, Cha Eun-woo ASTRO, is undergoing his military service. Maybe many of us only know Cha Eun-woo from the screen. His handsome face, his shady eyes, and his brilliant career in the entertainment world. He is known as an idol actor, as well as a top model with a myriad of achievements. But did you know that there is a real story from behind the military walls that makes us even more amazed at her figure? Today we're going to review the first-hand testimony of a soldier's guardian, yes, one of the parents of a fellow soldier who served with Eun-woo. This testimony is not just an ordinary story, but a true portrait of how Cha Eun-woo lived life in the harsh military world, away from the camera spotlight. And interestingly, what this warrior guardian tells is completely the opposite of what many people imagine a big celebrity to be. But before we get to the heart of the story, make sure you watch this video to the end, because there are details in the third minute that will really make you surprised and maybe even moved. So don't skip it. Conscription in South Korea is not easy. All men in the ginseng country are required to undergo military training for approximately 18 to 21 months. Hard training, strict discipline, to a tight schedule are part of the daily lives of young soldiers. When the news of Cha Eun-woo's entry into the military spread, many fans wondered, will he be treated differently because of his celebrity status? Will he be able to adjust to the stressful life of the barracks? Or will he have trouble leaving the comfort of the glamorous life of an idol? All these questions were finally answered little by little thanks to the stories of the soldiers. And now, through the testimony of a guardian whose son is in the same unit as Eun-woo. According to the guardian, his son initially felt awkward when he found out he was going to a barracks with a figure as popular as Cha Eun-woo. Just imagine a handsome idol who often adorns the screens of Korean dramas, now sleeps on the same bunk bed, eats with a simple menu, and follows the same strict schedule. However, it turns out that first impressions change so quickly. My son said, Cha Eun-woo is very humble. There is not a hint of arrogance. He was even the first to greet his new friends in the barracks, said the guardian. This open and friendly attitude makes the atmosphere fluid. Many soldiers who were initially reluctant finally felt comfortable being near Eun-woo. Interestingly, Eun-woo doesn't try to keep his distance. He really blends in, often even taking on small roles that many people usually avoid. For example, washing dishes after eating, cleaning barracks, to help bring equipment during training. This amazed the other soldiers, for although he could have been forgiven or given special treatment, he still chose to do the same duty as everyone else. My son told me that Cha Eun-woo never turned down an assignment. He even often volunteered to replace his friend who was exhausted, said the guardian again. Well, here comes the part that is quite surprising and warm-hearted. Every night, after a full day of training, the soldiers usually had a short rest period. Many choose to sleep quickly. There are also those who just chat with friends of the barracks. But Eun-woo is often asked to sing by her colleagues. At first he was embarrassed, but in the end he melted. He sang a few simple songs, not on a grand stage but in a cramped barracks, only in a natural voice without musical accompaniment. And it turns out it brings a different atmosphere. Some soldiers are homesick to the point of tears. The songs he performed were a reminder that they were all ordinary humans fighting in the same place. Eun-woo's voice makes my son feel calmer. He said it was like going home for a while even though he was still in the barracks, said the guardian with teary eyes. According to the guardian's story, there was an unforgettable incident when Eun-woo secretly wrote a letter to all the soldiers in his unit. The letter was not a long letter, but rather a simple message containing words of encouragement. He wrote short stories like, "We are all fighting together. Stay strong, these hard days will pass. I am proud to be here with you." To her amazement, Eun-woo even wrote a personal message to some of her colleagues who she knew were struggling to adjust. My son received the letter, and he immediately burst into tears. She said she didn't expect a celebrity of Cha Eun-woo's class to bother writing such meaningful little words. Though out there, Eun-woo could be busy with his popularity, but in the barracks he sincerely became a comrade in arms, the guardian said in a trembling voice. This story later spread among other parents of soldiers, making many families feel calm because they knew their children had a figure who could be an encouragement. When this news finally reached the ears of fans, online forums were immediately flooded with comments full of admiration. I fell in love with Cha Eun-woo. Not only was he handsome, but his heart was truly extraordinary. People like this deserve to be called role models. Popularity does not make him forget to be a humble human being. If I had been his friend in the barracks, I would have cried every day. This story is proof that Eun-woo is not only a star on stage, but also a shining figure in the midst of the rigors of military life. YouTube friends, let's continue this interesting story. As we've heard before, Cha Eun-woo actually managed to break the stereotype about a big celebrity in the military. He not only blends in but also becomes a reinforcing figure for his colleagues. But as it turns out, the story about Eun-woo doesn't stop there. The Guardian soldier still continues his story of how this handsome idol and actor adapts in the midst of a harsh barracks life. Point one of the most emphasized things in the military is discipline. All soldiers were obliged to get up early, wear uniforms neatly, take part in heavy physical exercises, and obey the commander's orders without exception. According to the Guardian's story, her son was very impressed with how Eun-woo lived by all those rules. There was not the slightest complaint. In fact, when other soldiers complained, Eun-woo encouraged them. My daughter says Eun-woo always says, "Come on, we can do it. Just a few more minutes, don't give up." Asterisk, those simple words made my son strong through the training. For young soldiers, such a little thing means a lot, because when their bodies are tired, they need someone who can give them a mental boost. And as it turns out, Eun-woo is always present at that moment. Well, YouTube friends, this is the part that is no less interesting. It turns out that Eun-woo is also quite close to his commander. Not that he gets preferential treatment, but because of his always obedient and humble attitude, there is one fairly well-known moment among servicemen. At that time, the commander gave a strong reprimand to the entire unit for a small mistake. All the soldiers looked down, feeling fear and guilt, but after that, Eun-woo came forward, saluted, and then said in a loud voice asterisk, "This mistake is also my responsibility. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again." Asterisk, this attitude amazed many soldiers. Though he could have been silent, but he chose to be responsible with his colleagues. My son told me that after that moment, many other soldiers respected Eun-woo even more. They say that he is not only a celebrity but also a leader. Said the Guardian, barracks life is inseparable from the physical condition of the drop. There were times when soldiers fell ill from fatigue. Well, it turns out that Eun-woo is also known as a caring figure. Point one night, one of his colleagues had a fever. Instead of sleeping, Eun-woo helps take care of her. He takes water, checks the condition of his companion, even accompanies him so as not to feel alone. My son saw right away. He said Eun-woo was willing to sacrifice his rest time for the sake of his sick friend. He sat beside his partner's bed until finally he could sleep peacefully, said the Guardian. The story made many old men feel haru. They know that their children have not only a friend, but also a new brother named Cha Eun-woo. The barracks environment. Differences in character certainly often cause friction. There were times when young warriors had disagreements, even minor disagreements. According to the soldier's Guardian, Eun-woo is often the arbiter. With his calm character, he can calm both sides. My son says that if there is a dispute, Eun-woo usually says, "We are all here for the same purpose."